Hey guys, Shocklord here for a video, and I haven't uploaded in a long time, and this probably is starting to sound, probably sounded like a broken record by the fifth update video that I made a long time ago. I haven't uploaded in a while, and I'm not going to give some stupid excuse or some lie. I've been really busy, and I haven't had the time, and I haven't really thought about the channel in a long time. In fact, to my knowledge, nobody even watches my videos anymore, and I'm talking to nobody. Hopefully that changes here soon, because I am restarting one of my podcasts that I made while I was in school. And that podcast is going to be whatever we want to talk about. I would do Anamike, but I don't think my new host, or co-host rather, knows a whole lot about anime. So we're going to do whatever we want to talk about. And yes, I said new co-host because I do have a new co-host. Well, you'll meet him in this podcast, or in this episode rather. He and I have been best friends for about 4 years, and we decided to do this podcast. Well, I decided that we should do this podcast, rather. He wanted to do a podcast. I said we should do this one because the conversations that we have on a daily basis are so good for podcasts. And that's basically what this is. It's equivalent to one of our daily conversations. So we're going to try to make an upload schedule that works with both of our work schedules because he has weekends off. So we're going to try to do weekly uploads. There's no guarantee, and they're probably not going to be all on the same day, but we're going to try to do weekly uploads for this. They're going to eventually be on their own channel. We might have some guest stars, sometimes probably mostly our friends. It's going to be about TV, anime, cars, movie reviews maybe. Sometimes it'll be political, and I'm going to give a heavy trigger warning for this episode. You don't have to watch it if you don't want. It is the first episode, so I hope you do. We do get kind of political, but we don't sort of lean one way or the other on anything. We just sort of middle ground it, but we do get kind of political. We talk about the Black Lives Matter movement. We talk about ACAB, stuff like that. We talk about cancel culture, somewhat the election, but barely. But we do get a little political in this one, so trigger warning for those that don't want to watch it. When I say that we talk about the Black Lives Matter movement and ACAB, we both heavily support the Black Lives Matter movement. We don't support the riots that were caused by it. We support the peaceful protests and the movement itself. So the trigger warning isn't that we don't like the movement, because we do absolutely approve of the movement, because it's a big issue. It's just the violent protests that went on because of it. We don't approve of those. And as for the election, we don't really go into it. I say that never mind. You'll hear it in the podcast. I hope you guys enjoy this first episode, and I can't wait to continue recording this one and uploading this one for you guys to listen to, because it's a really good podcast. And I can't wait for you guys to enjoy it, and I can't wait to keep uploading it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. See you in the next one. Welcome back to whatever we want to talk about. I'm Neil, and this is not Hunter. This is my new co-host, Clark. Would you like to say something?
Hello!
That's not his voice.
I know. Hi, my name's Clark. I'll be Neil's new co-host.
Because Hunter and Nathan, we don't hang out much anymore. I haven't talked to Hunter in so long. Anyway, though.
We all graduated and we got jobs.
And then we lost like 5 of them in the span of a year.
Exactly. So, depression, as many of our viewers can relate to.
We're children in our in the year 2020.
Yep.
But yeah, this is the continuation of whatever we want to talk about. And now we're not making this for school, so we can cuss. And to that I say, fuck yeah! We don't have to... Yeah, we don't have to beat around the bush about anything anymore. We can just say what we need to say. I'm going to switch this over here real quick.
So what should we talk about for our first topic?
That is a good question.
Let's not talk about any trigger warnings.
No. And there will be some trigger warnings. Going forward for this podcast, what it's going to be is literally just whatever we want to talk about. If we
Exactly.
come up to politics, we'll end up putting a trigger warning in the beginning of the video. We'll talk about movies, TV shows, video games. As you can see from the previous episode, sort of, I uploaded. It was a sort of testing episode that we recorded 2 years ago.
Yes, I think so.
It was before whatever we want to talk about even existed, and I decided that I should upload it to test it. It's either going to be up before this one or after this one, so whoever's listening to it will find out.
Exactly.
But what should we talk about for this first episode?
What
What were you going to ask me on the way out of Meyer that I shushed you for?
Oh shoot, I don't even remember now.
The purpose of something.
Purpose of something. What
It was a computer-based thing. We were watching a TikTok. Something to do with Windows.
Oh! What's everyone's big fuss about privacy? If you've really got nothing to hide, why is everyone so panicky about it? Because we know that people are listening in. We've got
Are we talking about, like, what we're searching or, like search history?
like Alexa. That's one of the big ones. Everyone's so scared about their privacy being invaded, but my question is, unless you're having sex with your cat or something like that, what exactly are you hiding?
I mean, you'd be surprised how much of the American population enjoys cats.
Oh, well.
And I don't mean furries.
And there are things as neckos, so.
I don't mean neckos. I mean the fluffy animals that we all know and love.
Oh dear, no.
Some people more than others.
Oh boy.
Maybe we should put a trigger warning at the beginning of this one. Anyway.
Good job, Neil. We pissed off people within a span of 4 minutes.
Oh, Christ. Anyway, so
I'd like to say that that's
when
impressive for us, but it's not.
To answer your question
Shoot.
about privacy, let me put it to you this way. It's
Okay.
not more about like the government listening in. That's more what incognito mode is for.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Say you were looking up porn on your computer.
No.
And your mom
Incognito.
suddenly checks your internet history. You wouldn't exactly be happy about that, would you?
No, I can't say I would.
That's why people are so keen on privacy. It's not just the people that are digitally listening in. It's about the people that live in the house.
Well, incognito mode is less for the government and more for your girlfriend, but that's besides the point.
Or your mother.
Oh, yes. Or your siblings who log onto your devices.
I don't let my siblings log onto my devices.
I made that mistake once.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which one?
Once.
Which one?
Lillian.
Is that why she's the way that she is?
Maybe. I don't know.
Is that why she enjoys the pans in the cupboard a bit too much?
I know how pansexuals came around. There are such things as spatulas.
Oh no! Oh no! Flip me like a burger, Daddy. Oil me up.
Spanks the front and back end perfectly.
Oh my god! We're gonna get demonetized before I'm even demonetized ever.
We're gonna demonetize. Hell, we're gonna be demonetized before we're able to upload this.
I know. I'm just gonna get a letter from YouTube. If you upload this, you will be demonetized.
Exactly.
We will not tolerate this filth. Oh my god.
Yeah.
But yeah, with privacy, people don't like other people snooping around. That's all that it is. It's not even about like having nothing to hide and nothing to fear. It's about. It's more of a society-based thing. Like, we're not going to go into what we're into on this podcast.
Yeah.
We might do it on another one, but my family watches the main channel, so we'll wait until I have set up a second channel for this podcast, so that way
Of course.
they don't hear me talking about it on my main channel.
Exactly.
But you're into what you're into, right?
Uh-huh.
And you're kind of quiet about it.
I am quiet about it, but
So
that's
you
the only
wouldn't
thing
want-
that I'm quiet about.
Exactly. That's mainly what it is.
Okay.
People are mainly
That's
quiet about odd searching activities.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I wouldn't want the government knowing when I'm searching around on certain websites and VPNing. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
So that's what that is. That's why people are so keen on privacy.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. So, trigger warning.
Uh-oh.
It's 2020.
Oh, no.
And this is something, and we were just talking about privacy and demonetization, and something that I've noticed that one of the popular apps of the current day is...
You're talking TikTok?
Yes,
Yeah.
they're demonetizing Republicans.
Are they really?
They are.
Wait, TikTok has a monetization system?
Yep. It's,
no.
yeah, they're basically following along the lines of the company Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Where if there's anything that's if it leans towards the right, it'll be fact checked pretty much instantly.
But as soon as it's leaning towards the left, nothing happens.
Which is very odd to me.
That's because I'm big trigger warning, and I'm not saying that this is what I believe. This is just what I've seen. It is very out of fashion to be a Republican right now in the public eye.
It is,
and I hate that. It's
Yeah.
not even because I am a Republican, because I'm not. I don't give a fuck. I'm not voting this election, and I probably won't ever vote, if I'm being completely honest, because it's a pain in the ass to follow a candidate when I couldn't care less.
I don't know.
I mean, the only time I probably ever vote is if it's like very clearly like this is a good candidate against a very clearly bad candidate.
Exactly.
The problem is that with the last two, it's been wishy-washy.
We haven't had a very clear
choice. That's the problem.
Yeah, and you know which way I lean. I definitely lean.
And you know which way I lean.
Exactly.
I'm fucking stiff as a board. I do not lean one way or the other. I'm just sort of here.
Whereas I definitely lean a little bit more towards the left. Now, that also being said, I share some of the right's views.
Exactly.
But
that's how an actual human being should be.
Exactly.
Like, yes, you lean towards the left, but that doesn't mean you're never going to vote Republican. That's not...
Yeah.
Just because you're mainly Democrat doesn't mean that you can't ever vote Republican. It's very much based on candidate. That's why the political parties... I've never understood why we have political parties. It should just be... Like, I get it. There's groups of people and they're very different views. I get that part. The problem is candidate-based.
Fair enough.
They shouldn't be labeled into any political party. They shouldn't base their own views based on their self-proclaimed political party.
Yeah. Well, the problem is we've tried that. We've tried branching off and kind of dissociating ourselves from... And I don't even know if...
I love how we weren't going to talk politics in this.
And then all of a sudden, politics!
Like, oh, look in the corner. What's that? A little whip? Oh, hey, look, politics.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's an F word.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a fucking bomb. Is that why it's called the F-bomb?
I don't know.
Or the A-bomb? The H-bomb. Holy hell, it's a bomb! Thanks for coming to my gender reveal party, man. All right, go ahead and drop it. What's that? That's a nuclear bomb. Couldn't you just do a balloon? Nah. That's a TikTok.
It's a girl!
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway.
So TikTok demonetizing Republicans.
Yes.
And actually, most things are... Oh my god, I thought somebody was in your window.
And I have no problem with Republicans.
No, I don't have any problem with most people. It's the thing.
Yeah.
That's why I love Twitter.
It's the extremes that I definitely
No, it's Republicans and Democrats aren't bad people.
Yes.
It's the people that are extremists, like the extreme right or the extreme left. That's the issue. And I'm pretty sure most people understand that. Like the people that blindly follow any candidate as long as it's part of that party and will turn a blind eye to whatever they've done in their past just because they're part of that party and they don't want the other one to win.
Which, that's another thing.
Or they'll throw dirt in your eye for no fucking reason.
That's another thing that I've noticed with most elections. Why the hell is it a big thing of what a person has done in the past? That's not what they are then.
That's the thing.
At the moment in time.
I can understand that if it was something that was like 2 years ago or within the past 5 years even, because change doesn't happen in the span of 5 years.
No.
Not something as big as your personality. It can, but odds are it won't, especially if you're an adult. However, 10 years. Do I think my parents are the same people they were when I was 9 years old? Fuck no. They're very different people now.
Are we the same people that we were 9 years ago?
Hell no.
No, obviously not.
That's why I had such a big issue last election with the thing that Trump said on that bus. It was 10 years ago. Who fucking gives a shit?
Well, that also being said, you also have to look at...
It also depends on what they did.
That's true.
Like, if they, for example, massive trigger warning, just warning you, I'm getting into a very deep subject. If somebody raped somebody and got away with it 10 years ago, and this person, there you go, suddenly comes forward, has damning evidence that it was that person. Yeah. Obviously, they need to go to jail because that is fucking horrible.
It is. And again, as someone who has been a victim of that before, it's mentally
so
scarring.
shitty.
It's not...
It's even worse when the men come forward as rape victims and get zero media attention.
Yeah.
But we're not going to go into that this podcast.
Yeah,
That's a whole other thing.
Unless we change our mind within the next 5 minutes.
Which we might.
Which we have already.
See, 5 years, nothing changes. 5 minutes.
Exactly. It's us.
Anyway. But that's the thing. Is that video that was 10 years old where he said some stupid shit on a bus with, I think, some reporter. Who cares?
Yeah. I mean, I know
it doesn't fucking matter. Or, even worse, when James Gunn got fired from... Not even worse. Similarly worse. When James Gunn got fired from Disney and from directing Guardians of the Galaxy 3 because of some old tweets. Tweets that were very obviously jokes.
I forgot about that.
You know why he got hired back, too? Because he did. Because the cast boycotted the movie if he didn't come back. A bunch of the cast wasn't going to return if he didn't direct it.
Yeah. Again.
That's stupid. That's the thing. Blaming somebody for what they did in their past or for something that their father did is terrible.
Klingons.
We're not Klingons. We're humans.
I know you are.
And this is going to get real trigger warning-y. That's also part of the issue with how some people... Not everyone, because I know plenty of people that are dealing with it correctly.
Why are you
I'll even call one out by name. Clark and Abby.
Shoot.
The Black Lives Matter movement. Obviously, I support the Black Lives Matter movement. Because we need to focus on that, and we need to get that fixed.
Let's just speak about movements in general.
The factor of hating all cops for what a few of them did, or hating all white people for what our ancestors did.
Look, I know that not every single one of us.
Not every single white person had a family that had slaves. Mine didn't.
And yet, for some odd reason, mine did.
Well, you probably had ancestors that were part of the main colony, or came over within that time.
I'm gonna have this bleeped, but I have ancestors who were Nazis.
I mean, yeah, probably.
And does that at all?
Does that make you a Nazi? Not at all. No.
No, I quite frankly hate Nazis. I hate the neo-Nazis and I hate the previous Nazis.
I have a quick joke for you.
I hate their beliefs, for Christ's sake.
Want to hear a joke? Oh, what was it? Oh, fuck. Keep talking. I gotta find the joke.
Something for the next podcast, because we were idiots and we didn't think about this beforehand. We should really establish who we are before we even start off.
Oh!
Who are...
Yeah, that's a good... Just randomly, I'm talking to this guy named Clark. I sat down at this cafe. This is a random dude who I shanghaied into doing this podcast. No.
Exactly. No, we've known each other for 4 years.
When I was doing the last podcast, he was in AM. He was in F&M.
And to quote the previous podcast, yeah, all people in AM suck.
Yeah. We've known each other for 4 years, and we're best friends. We're in his new apartment that we moved into today, and we thought, why not christen it by reopening my podcast and starting it back up? So we did just that.
Exactly.
Okay, trigger warning for this joke, but if you can't take a joke, you clearly don't belong in this podcast. Are you ready, Clark?
Oh, God.
A nihilist, a socialist, and a neo-Marxist walk into a bar and order drinks. We don't sell alcohol to anyone under 18, says the bartender. That's pretty funny.
All right. Levels of jokes.
Briefly discussing that.
Because there was an old show that was on TV from a long time ago, and that's something that I expect this podcast to reflect. Oh my God, I'm forgetting the name of it now. But there was someone from the extreme right and someone from the extreme left who did political news. This is going to be a much more toned down version of that. Neil and I, we don't always see eye to eye on the same topics.
But we don't typically argue on these topics.
Exactly.
The thing. We will debate them and talk them back and forth.
Until we find a middle ground.
Exactly.
Which is something that...
We don't try to change the other's minds. We try to agree on sort of a middle, like this works, but this doesn't, and that makes sense.
Exactly. And if something gets too tense,
we typically shut it down because we're obviously not going to change each other's minds.
Exactly.
That's what this podcast is. We're basically just chilling with a microphone on. That's what this is.
Exactly. And that's...
The only reason that we're starting this podcast back up is because these are the kinds of conversations that we will have just in public.
Exactly. And as I've been told at the past couple jobs that I've worked, I'd be a good radio announcer.
Oh, you absolutely would.
That's something that I would like to do in my future. Now,
I don't know about NPR, but...
I mean, no, I definitely...
You don't have the range.
True. But that also being said, Car Talk.
I could see you on Bob and Tom as well.
104.5 or
104.5 is not Bob FM.
104.5.
Oh no, that is Bob FM.
Bob FM.
But that's not Bob and Tom.
Yeah.
That's a different thing.
Click and Clack, the Tappet Brothers.
That? Yeah.
That was Car Talk Radio, an old radio show that I used to listen to on my drive into school.
Yeah. But yeah, this podcast is basically that. Yeah. Also, we kind of got off track.
We did. Where were we?
I believe movements and the Black Lives Matter one.
Oh, dear God.
And we were talking about how we can't... It was basically we can't blame every single person of a group based on what a few do.
Exactly.
We can't say that all cops are bastards just because a few of them fucked up.
Exactly.
However, I'm not saying you don't have the right to be afraid of a cop because you had a personal experience with one that was very, very bad.
That also being said, don't attack them.
Exactly. Do your very best to cooperate with them. If you're tense and they ask you why you're tense, explain it. Say, and I know that that's not that simple sometimes. It's not as simple as just explaining it to them why.
On top of the fact that we are two white males.
We are two white males. I personally have never had any bad experiences. That's why I'm saying.
I've had a few.
That's why I know you have. I've been there for a couple of them.
You have.
That's why I said I know that I can't just say you're not allowed to be afraid of cops.
Yes.
Because obviously you're allowed to be afraid of cops.
It's
but
how
don't
you use that.
Exactly. Don't hate them. You can be afraid of them. That's obvious. Don't hate all cops. Don't assume that a cop is bad just because you've experienced a bad one in the past.
Exactly. We used to idolize cops. If you take a look at some of our...
My grandfather was a cop.
Exactly. So what happened specifically?
I think what happened with you is you started driving.
Dick move, but carry on.
Am I wrong?
I mean, no. I'm not afraid of cops if they're walking around in general public.
But when you're driving, you get kind of tense.
In fairness, I get tense because my previous car didn't have an accurate speedometer.
Yeah. I'm not worried about cops ever.
Oh.
The only time I'm worried about a cop is when I see the lights come on. Because obviously I fucked up.
Exactly. Something happened.
That or they're just pulling me over for no reason.
Which sometimes it's just a random search.
Right.
It's fine.
And I'll be honest. I've made some pretty heavy mistakes in my past.
So have I.
That doesn't mean that I'm going to hate cops because I fucked up. Because there's the thing. You'll have people that will have actually done terrible things, but blame the cops for their bad experience.
Exactly.
When it's not the cops. It's you.
That's taking ownership.
Granted, it's not always you. Sometimes there are cops that will abuse their power. And I'm not saying that there aren't, because there obviously are.
Exactly.
I've seen that happen.
Yeah. Likewise.
And it's not okay.
No, it isn't.
And like with a lot of things that we've said, there needs to be a lot better of a background check, but the thing is, it's not that simple, because there are things that you can hide from a background check.
There's a lot of stuff that, I mean...
You can't tell a guy's personality just based on a background check.
You can't tell a guy's personality from a 5-minute conversation with them.
Yep.
There are frauds, there are crooks, there are many things.
That being said, I will say that whenever a cop does something super, super fucked up, they tend to get fired pretty quick.
I haven't seen...
But the issue is that people say, well, there needs to be a better way of detecting it before it happens, so that way it won't happen. But the problem with that is that we can't.
No.
As of right now, there's no way that we can do that.
There's only so much we can do. Again, we've got body cams, which...
We have body cams.
That holds cops to the letter.
Like, I saw a video once where a cop literally planted a shitload of drugs on a guy, and it was just on his body cam.
Yeah.
And he got caught.
Mm-hmm. And then there are other videos where there's that guy going through the McDonald's line, and you see the cop over across the street going, "Did you get a number 9? Big Mac? Some fries? Yum, yum, yum."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the ones where it's the dudes in the parking lot of McDonald's with like a fishing line
yeah.
to donuts, and you hear them over the radio. Tempting.
Yeah.
Or the one where it's like, kind of donuts of those. Chocolate. Doctor. And then he drives up and takes them.
Exactly.
It's funny. See, cops are fun. You just gotta...
Exactly, yeah. They're human. That's the biggest part. Because whenever we see someone in a uniform, whether it be behind the counter of the McDonald's drive-thru, whether it be Lowe's customer service, whether
you can't tell we work at Lowe's, can you?
No, not at all. Whether it be a cop in a uniform, you have to realize that there is a person behind that. There's a family. There is a history. There's a lot there. You have to take into account.
They're not just doing this to do this.
No.
They're doing this because they want to protect and serve.
Exactly.
They want to protect the people that they love.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just their family.
Yeah.
I got into an argument in the comment section of a video once where they said that cops choose their line of work and people can't choose their skin color. To which this was underneath an already previous argument where somebody commented ACAB and then got into an argument with somebody, and then somebody added into that little comment there about can't choosing skin color and choosing a line of work. To which I replied, so that suddenly means that just because they chose to risk their lives on a daily basis to protect you and everyone around you, that their lives suddenly don't matter? That they're just pointless now just because they chose to do this?
That's another thing, by the way. We've known people who have been victims, or who's been a victim of an unfair cop assault.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I've also seen some people who have really no right whatsoever to be angry at cops and who are just following along with others. And that leads me into something that we were talking about earlier, the radical left.
It's what I like to call cancel culture or the dog pile.
Yeah.
Where people will just pile on to a certain ideal just because somebody said it was true.
Exactly.
With no experience of it, no way to actually tell that it's, the correct thing to do to jump on this, but they'll do it anyway.
It's no different than a popular kid in high school and bullying.
Pretty much.
Yep.
It's in fashion to do it, as it were.
Exactly.
We've gotten into a society where we're no longer innocent until proven guilty. We are guilty until proven innocent.
Yep.
And what's worse is that's not even on a legal basis.
No.
That's on a societal basis, which is so much worse. Because, you go to jail and you're fucked, but you can still come back out and live a life. You get fucked society-wise, that's it. Exactly. Life is over. You're done.
Yep. Good luck finding another job.
Any friends, a family, you're done.
Yep. Monica Lewinsky. That's a very good example of that.
Yeah.
I mean, with the whole Bill Clinton thing, trigger warning, I should have said that before.
It's been decades. I don't think anybody cares anymore.
Well, we all heard Bill Clinton's side, but we never actually saw Monica Lewinsky's. And I got to see a clip from a popular comedian and reporter by the name of John Oliver, who went in and he actually talked to Monica Lewinsky to see what happened afterwards.
and her life was destroyed. It wasn't just her, though. That's the thing. Her family got targeted too. Her friends. It was awful.
Cancel culture at its finest.
Exactly.
Another good example of that is the Shane Dawson thing, or hell, even James Charles. Most internet drama. One person says, "Oh, this person said or did this." There's no proof. Just taking your word. You have to take my word for it. I'm not going to show you any proof or anything, but you just got to take my word for it that this happened.
And that's all fun and everything in like old Western films, but that when you apply that to real life, that gets really dodgy.
Like when somebody said that Shane Dawson fucks cats and tried to cancel him over that. Obviously, that's not true. Or the dude that constantly calls Shane a pedophile.
Yeah.
Oh wait, isn't that Onion Boy, Onision?
I don't know.
I will say that Onision, somebody will say, well, what about Onision and the cancel culture surrounding him? And I wouldn't call that cancel culture at that point. There is, like, actual proof of what he's done.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, that's not cancel culture. That's just everybody collectively trying to take down an asshole.
That's along the lines of the Jake Paul thing.
What was the Jake Paul thing? Are you talking about the Woods? That's Logan.
Logan Paul, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That family has just so much controversy around it.
Mm-hmm.
Like their father and his sex tape.
Oh, dear.
I've seen it. It's not great.
Well, then again, you also take a look
I'm gonna trigger warning for anybody that I'm just gonna tell you this right now. We might have to bleep this. I'm just saying. I'm gonna describe it real quick for you.
Shoot.
We might have to bleep it.
Hmm.
Imagine.
Oh,
And
Jesus.
it was just the grossest thing.
Ugh. But then again, you also take a look at success stories of porn videos, and you get Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, people forget she's famous because of her sex tape. That's why she's rich.
Yep.
That's why she's famous.
Yep.
I don't get why that. I don't like that family is famous.
I don't like them either. And I mean, there's good famous people and there are bad famous people. Again, a good famous person, in my personal opinion. Oh my
How
God.
long have we been recording?
Oh, Jesus.
We'll cut it off in about a minute here. Tell you what, we'll save the famous people for the next one.
Yeah.
For the next episode, if we remember it, and we'll probably listen to the end of this to make sure,
Mm-hmm.
I think that we should talk about a bit more of a dodgy subject.
Shoot.
I think we should talk about OnlyFans and the porn industry and what we think about those.
All right.
And some of the people on there.
What should our sign-off be?
What, like our signature goodbye?
Yeah, like signing off till next time. This is...
Well, this is Neil and Clark, and we've talked about what we want to talk about for the day.
Yeah.
So we will see you guys tomorrow. Clark, any parting words?
I'm Dingus. This is Doofus signing off.
No.